Hello, my dearest students. Welcome in online class. You have seen two video of our chapters 7 Things Around Us. In this video, you will learn chapter 7 Things Around Us textual exercise part. Explanation of exercise. In that, first of all, you have learned key terms, right? Then after, in your exercise, page number 91, 92 and 93, in objective type questions, are you saying first, fill in the blanks with suitable words. These are the building blocks of the body. Cells are the building blocks of the body. Second, in these organisms, all life processes are carried out by a single cell. Unicellular. In unicellular organisms, all life processes are carried out by a single cell. Next, third, an organism's reaction to a change in immediate environment is called DAS. That is called response. Fourth, the word DAS means living. As you know, biotic components means living and abiotic means non-living. So here the answer is biotic. Bacteria and fungi are common decomposers. Bacteria and fungi are common decomposers. So this is the fill-ups. Let's we learn next question, that is choose the correct options. Choose the correct options. First one is, which of these refers to a group of similar cells that performs a particular function? The correct answer is tissue. Correct answer is tissue. Next, which of these do living things get from their environment? Here, as you seeing options A, B and C, food, water and air. All these we are getting from the environment. So here the answer is comes all of this. Next, which of these animals feeds on dead bodies of other animals? Correct option is C, hyena. Next, which of these are cold-blooded animals? Reptiles. B. Reptiles are cold-blooded animals. Next, which of these form the biotic components of the environment? A. Plants. B. Animals. C. Microorganisms. All these form biotic components. So answer is D, all of this. Then next, which of these are characteristics of living things? Grow, reproduce and excrete. All three characteristics of living things. So the answer is D, all of this. Then the next is, which of these form the abiotic components of the environment? Correct answer is A, soil. Next, which of these do plants need to prepare their food? Light, water, carbon dioxide. These all three all the three things required to prepare food. So the answer is D, all of this. Then the next is, which of the following are called primary consumers? So herbivores are primary consumers who are eating only plants and plants product. Next is, which of these are warm-blooded animals? From this, the correct answer is C, bear. So these are the MCQs. Now let's we see a very short answer type question. Right, very short answer type questions. In that question A, give two examples of the following. So the first one is life process in living things. We need nutrition and respiration in life process. Waste given out by plants. Waste given out by plants, carbon dioxide and oxygen. Omnivorous animals, bear and crow. Biotic components, plants and animals, living things. Secondary consumer means carnivorous like tiger and lion. Let's we learn now question B. Give one word of the following. Give one word of the following, and that first one is the smallest living structure that is able to function independently. That is called cell. The process by which living things use oxygen to release energy from food. From food. That is called respiration. Next, a components of the environment that are non-living, that are called abiotic components. Next, a cycle of growth and development of an organism is called life cycle. It's called life cycle. Next is animals that feed on dead plants and animals that are called scavengers. That are called scavengers. So this was the objectives of these chapters. Now let's we go short answer type questions. Before that, I want to give to you one instruction. Objective type questions you have to write in textbook only. Now from here, short question answer you have to write in your FNB. Give a nice heading, write down the question with black pen and show the answer in with blue pen, and write down the answer point wise. Here I given different colors for you. So color is changed means your answer point is changed. Right. So let's start short answer type questions. Question number 1. State any 4 characteristics of living things. So 4 characteristics of living things are as follows. A. Most living things are capable of moving on their own. Living things can grow. Plants and animals respire all the time. Living things have the ability to reproduce. So these are the main 4 characteristics of living things. Now let's we see the next question is, define respiration and why is it important? So the process by which living things utilize oxygen to release energy stored in the food which they eat is called respiration. The process by which living things utilize oxygen to release energy stored in the food they eat is called respiration. And why is it important? So it is important because through this process food is broken down to release energy. Food is broken down to release energy for carrying out life process. That's why the respiration is important. Let's see, the next question is, what are autotrophs and how are they different from heterotrophs? Right? So, what first see, what are autotrophs? So living things that can manufacture their own food are called autotrophs. Right? Living things that can manufacture their own food are called autotrophs. And how they are different from heterotrophs? So, green plants are manufacture their own food by photosynthesis. That's why they are called autotrophs. है ना? And how they are different from heterotrophs? That is, they are different from heterotrophs because heterotrophs, such as animals, are living things that cannot manufacture their own food by their own. Right? They depend on plants and other animals for foods. That's why it is called heterotrophs. And this is only the difference from autotrophs and heterotrophs. Let's we see the next. Just define of decomposers. That same defines you have learned in first chapter. है ना? Tiny organisms that feed on the remain dead plants and animals to break down into a simpler substances are called decomposers. I repeat, tiny organisms that feed on the remains of the dead plants and animals to break them down into a simpler substances are called decomposers. Let's we see the next question is, what is a biotic community? This is the question, repeating 3-4 times. Biotic means living and abiotic means non-living. Right? The living organisms that form a part of an environment is called a biotic community. The living organisms that form a part of the environment is called the biotic community. So these are the short question answers are there. Now let's we start long question answer. Long question answer means they have the many points, right? In that also I have given for simple, if it is simple for you, color is change means your answer is change, right? Let's see, the first question is, describe the structure organization of living things. हमको structure organization in living things, in that you have learned the many things, right? है ना? So living things have definite structure organization. In the bodies of the living things are made up of cells which are building blocks of the body. Right? Cells which are building blocks of the body. A cell is the smallest living structure that is able to function independently. What is cell? A cell is the smallest living structure that is able to function independently. A group of similar cells that perform particular function and form a tissue. A group of tissues performing a particular function in the body form an organ. Now an organ, a group of an organ interacting with each other to perform a particular life process such as digestion, respiration and form an organ system. There are organisms made up of just one cell. There are organisms made up of just one cell. An organism whose body contains a single cell is called unicellular organisms. An organism whose body contains of a single cell is called a unicellular organisms. For example, amoeba and paramecium. And another side, an organism whose body contains several cells is called multicellular organisms. An organism whose body contains of a several cell is called a multicellular organisms. For example, human beings and a rose plant. So this is the structure organization in living things. Let's we see the next question is, with the help of an example explain stimulus and response in plants. So the answer is, a change in the immediate environment of an organism. A change in the immediate environment of an organism which produce a change in the activities of the organisms, which produces a change in the activities of an organism is called a stimulus, plural form of stimuli. An organism's reaction to a stimulus is called a response. An organism's reaction to a stimulus is called a response. Like leaves of touch me not curl up when touched. Right, leaves of touch me not curl up when we touch. Hence, touch is the stimulus and curling up of leaves, that is response. Right, that is the example of stimulus and response in plants. Let's see, the next question is, differentiate between living things and non-living things. Maybe you are learning this question answer, I think, from third standard. What are the living and non-living? But here we have to write the characteristics. Let's see the living things. Living things are made up of cells, while non-living things are not made up of cells. Living things excrete and get rid of wastes, while non-living things do not produce waste. Living things reproduce new offsprings. They do not reproduce. Non-living things do not reproduce. Living things need food and air to stay alive, and non-living things, they do not need food or air to stay alive. Living things follow a cycle of growth and they finally die, while non-living things do not grow or die. So these are the difference between the living and non-living. Let's see, the next question is, describe the differentiate between abiotic components of the environment. Describe the different abiotic components of the environment. So the answer is, the word abiotic means non-living, like light, air, water, soil and temperature are example of abiotic components of the environment. Let's we learn one by one. Light. Plants use light to prepare their food. The growth of plants and flowering are also dependent on the availability and duration of exposure to light. Plants use light to prepare their food. The growth of the plant and flowering are also dependent on the availability and duration exposure to light. Then the temperature. Temperature is measure that tell us how hot or cold object something is. The Earth is only known the planet that has a temperature suitable for life to exist. Then air. Oxygen and carbon dioxide present in the air are very important for survival of organisms. है ना? Both plants and animals need oxygen for respiration. Then after water. Water is very important for living organisms. Water is very important for living organisms. Plants absorb water through their roots, which is then transported to different parts of the plant. So this is the answer of abiotic components of the environment. Let's see the last and long question answer, that is, explain how oxygen and carbon dioxide of the air are balanced in nature. So the answer is, both plants and animals need oxygen for respiration. Both plants and animals need oxygen for respiration. Animals and human beings are release carbon dioxide during respiration, which is used by green plants for photosynthesis. है ना? Plants making food in the presence of carbon dioxide, air, water, है ना? So then after, carbon dioxide is also released by the burning of fuels in vehicles and factories. Plants in turn release oxygen into the environment. Thus green plants play a very important role in maintaining the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the environment. So here friend, these are the exercise of these chapters. I hope you have listened very properly. Now write down in your FNB in very neat and clean handwriting, so you can able to read during the exam time. Thank you for watching me, dear my kids.